2018 Audi S5 Cabriolet. Audi has set the performance bar high with the new generation A5, even with its base, turbocharged 2.0-liter inline-four engine. The A5's chassis is tied down, braking is strong, and the engine and transmission work together like Shaq and Penny in their prime. It's a complete package that puts pressure on its more athletic turbo V6-powered sibling. The new S5, tested here in Cabriolet form. The $63,275 starting price of the S5 convertible is $12,700 higher than that of the normal A5 Cabrio. A significant chunk of change that raises expectations. Highs: tidy cabin, stylish, room for four. Lows: not significantly better than the A5, firm ride, tough to justify price premium. New with a view. This all-new S5 resembles its predecessor so closely that it looks more like a refresh than a full redesign, but Audi says the sheet metal is completely different. If the previous generation car ate nothing but cottage cheese and ran 5 miles a day for a month, like a boxer trying to make weight, it had come out looking like this 2018 model. The more aggressive body sports wider wheel arches, a more sharply cut front end, and crisper edges where there used to be soft curves. The grille is flatter, and the headlights and taillights look sleeker and angrier. The result maintains the same general shape, but presents a more hunkered-down appearance. Visual distinctions between the S5 and the A5 are even less obvious. The metal trim around the lower air intakes pops more prominently. Dual exhaust tips on each side replace the base car's single units, the rear gains a diffuser. The grille slats are slightly tweaked, the mirror caps are metallic, rather than body color, and the wheel designs are more distinctive. The most significant difference, of course, is the engine and transmission. Power delivery. As with the new S5 Coupe and four-door S5 Sportback, the convertible has a new engine. Whereas the original S5 had a naturally aspirated V8, and the facelift of that model employed a supercharged V6, the new S5 boasts a turbocharged 3.0-liter V6. The design incorporates a twin-scroll turbocharger tucked into the valley between cylinder banks and under light loads. It can operate on the more efficient Miller combustion cycle. This turbo V6 makes 354 horsepower and 369 pounds-foot of torque, increases of 21 horses and 44 pounds-foot over the previous supercharged 6. And while the A5 now uses a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission and offers the option of a 6-speed manual, but just in the coupe, the S5 comes only with an 8-speed automatic. All-wheel drive is standard, and there's an optional torque-vectoring rear differential that is exclusive to the S5. The S5 Cabriolet outmuscles the A5 by 102 horsepower and 96 pounds-foot of torque, but our test numbers don't reflect nearly that big of a discrepancy. The S5 sprinted from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 4.8 seconds and ran the quarter mile in 13.5 seconds at 103 miles per hour. As compared with the 5.6 and 14.2 seconds at 98 miles per hour we measured for the turbo-4-powered A5 Cabrio with the 7-speed. The A5 outperformed this more expensive model on the skid with grip of 0.96 grams versus the S5's 0.94 grams. The S5 needed 158 feet to stop from 70 miles per hour. The A5 did it in 145 feet. It's not a direct comparison, though, since this car wore Continental Conti Spur Contact 5P tires, where the A5 was shod with Hankook Ventus S1 Evo 2 rubber. But both are summer performance tires on 19-inch wheels. The S5 Cabriolet puts up those performance numbers without the car ever feeling disturbed. The steering is quick and progressively gets heavier as speed increases. Although it is all but completely numb. The chassis, which Audi claims is 40% more rigid than the previous models, is imperturbable even as it nears its limits. But the ride quality is stiffer than that of the A5 by a wider margin than the small performance difference would justify. Overall, though, the S5 is surprisingly good at playing the parts of both a suave, comfortable convertible for everyday driving and a dialed-in, focused machine to challenge your favorite roads. Cabin fervor. Audi has improved the functionality of the convertible top with the new model. The previous generation car had to be parked, and the driver had to hold a button until the top was completely up or down. Now the top can be opened or closed with a single touch of a button, while driving at speeds of up to 31 miles per hour. We measured its operation at 18 seconds to open and 21 to close, both being longer times than Audi claims. The interior is exactly what we've come to expect of an Audi in 2018, with high-quality materials and plenty of fancy trim. Our test car wore a beautiful arrangement of quilted magma red leather, glossy carbon fiber inlays, soft touch door panels, and premium metal accents. The layout is streamlined and clean, with everything logically placed and located. The buttons and dials feel great, and the fit and finish is top shelf. That puts this S5 Cabriolet at an as-tested price of $70,625.